What's up, guys? So let's continue with the Deception Genesis set review. Today we're gonna jump right onto the creatures and we're gonna be reviewing each creature in every mana slot of the Genesis set. So let's jump right in. The first one, we have a legendary card here, and this is called Mimicus. At the end of the turn, while this creature is in your hand, transform it into a creature in your opponent's hand. It keeps its this ability after the change. So it's gonna keep changing every turn, and this is quite interesting because one of the important parts of a card game, of any card game, is being able to predict what the opponent will do. And the thing is that you don't know which cards the opponent has in his hand. And Mimicus is gonna give you the ability to see which card he has. As long as you don't play the Mimicus, it's gonna keep rotating into the creatures that the opponent has, so you're gonna know which creatures he has and what he might play in the next turn. So that's a really good piece of information to know. So for me, this has to be in the 4 stars category because knowing what the opponent will do is such an important part of any card game. Next one, we have the Apathy Conspirator. That confuses a random enemy creature. This is okay. The stats line is good for what it does for 1 mana. But giving Confuse is not as great as giving Sleep in the case of Deception. So I'm gonna have to give this a 3 stars. It's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's okay to play. Next one, we have the Needlefang Chameleon. The Needlefang Chameleon is quite good because it's a 1 mana 2/2 that also has hidden and gives burn. So I've seen this being played a lot in some decks. But I'm still gonna have to put this into the 3-star category because for me it's not a 4-star worthy type of card, so it's gonna have to go into the 3 stars. A Real Man. Either rent a friendly creature for 1 turn and afterlife draws a card. This is really good because some of the Deception creatures, you want to have them hidden for as many turns as possible, and this gives you that option for 1 mana as well as allowing you to draw an extra card. So it's super good. For me, it has to go into the 4 stars category because there's some really crazy plays that you can do with this if the opponent is not careful. And one of them is gonna be, for example, giving hidden to the creatures that allow you to get cards from your opponent, such as that we're gonna review later, such as Gleeful Pillager and whatnot. So this has to go into the 4-star category. The Trapdoor Assassin for me is a 3-star for sure, even though it's super good in aggro decks. But it has 1 health, so it's fairly simple to get rid of it. It's not as good as the Switch Duelist, which is a core card. But for 2 mana, if you want to be super aggressive and you're putting a lot of pressure on the board, unless you're playing against Magic, which has a lot of dealing 1 damage to everything type of spells, this is going to be super good. So but I'm still gonna have to put it in the 3 stars because it's not 4 stars type of card. The next card we have is the Gleeful Pillager. It would be 4 stars for sure if it had hidden, but since it doesn't have hidden for a turn, I'm gonna have to give it 3 stars because most of the times that I've played this, it's not being able to survive in the board until my next turn for me to be able to get one of the opponent's cards. But in the case it does, or for example where you combo it with other cards such as the Real Man like we reviewed before, it becomes a super good card. So it can easily go up to 4 stars, but for now it's 3 stars with this stat line and with this type of mechanic. Next one, we have Lightfoot Informant, which is definitely a 4-star card because as well as having a good stat line, it has hidden for a turn, and it also gives you a spell from the opponent's god. So basically it's a 2 mana 1/2 with hidden and draw 1. With the bonus of being from your opponent's god, so it can give you a lot of flexibility and some interesting mechanics to play with. So this card has to be 4 stars in my opinion because it's one of the best Deception cards that you can play. Next, we're jumping right on to the 3-star category, where we have the Underhand Thug. When this creature damages your opponent, replace a random card in their hand with an anim, enchanted weapon, or rune. This might be interesting to play in terms of disrupting the combo decks, but since the meta is not run by combo decks, it's run by control decks and these types of things. This card has some potential, so I'm gonna have to put it in the 3 stars. For example, it also has the potential to replace their removals, but here in the enchanted weapons or runes, they can get the Rune of Fire, which is a removal, or they can get an enchanted weapon which has deadly, which is also a removal. So it's kind of playing the RNG, but since it's like there's 12 options to get out of, 2 of them are really good, so it's 2 out of 12, so it's not that great of probabilities to succeed for the opponent to get good cards. But other than that, it's pretty good. It can become super powerful if the meta requires it. If not, it's okay. Shady Merchant. Hidden for a turn. At the start of your turn, add a random enchanted weapon to your hand. If this survives for more than 1 turn, it becomes absolutely preposterous because it's super good. Enchanted weapons are always good. And it guarantees you 1 of them. So this card also has to be in the 4-star category. Anything that gives you like super powerful cards or allows you to know what the opponent's drawing and giving you his cards are gonna be super good. The case for Glyphal Pillager, it wasn't because it didn't have hidden, but since this one has for at least a turn, it's gonna be great. So 4 stars. Next, the Mastermind. We're gonna be jumping into the legendary cards because Deception has a lot of legendary cards in the 4-mana slot. One of them is the Mastermind. Add a Mind Probe to your opponent's hand. Whenever this creature damages your opponent, add the Mind Probe to their hand. So Mind Probes, basically, they have to play them and they cost 2 mana, because if they don't, at the end of the turn, they take 2 damage for each. They take damage for each of the cards they have in their hand. And if they have several Mind Probes, they're gonna be taking a bunch of damage. So basically, what this card does, and for me it's a 4-star for sure. What this card does, I would even argue that this is a 5-star, but there's better cards here to be playing. What this card does is it basically allows you to out-tempo your opponent, because on the first turn, since it has a roar, it's already lowering their turn by 2 mana, because they're gonna have to play the mind to spend that 2 mana to get rid of the Mind Probe, and then every turn you're giving them 1 of the Mind Probes, so they're always playing 2 mana behind, and that's awesome for Deception because it has a lot of tempo advantage type of cards. But it's also quite interesting because you can leave it hidden for as long as you want, because it's not hidden for a turn. It's hidden for forever until it attacks, and the opponent's gonna have to get rid of it. The only thing that brings it down is gonna be the stat line, which is 1/2. Fairly easy to get rid of. If it was a little bit better, like a 1/3 or a 1/4, then this card would be absolutely like gigantic and would be in every Deception deck, and it would be a 5-star for sure. But since it's not 4 stars, next one we have Lord of Whispers, and this is one of my favorite cards for Deception. This is 5 stars for sure. It has hidden, so it only loses the hidden when you attack. It has flanks, so it can always benefit from its effect. When this creature damages your opponent, add a copy of a card from your opponent's deck to your hand. So here, this is not as good as Vault Vagabond, where the effect where you draw, get a copy of the next card they're gonna draw, because that effect allows you to not only get extra resources, but know what is drawing. So at a point, if that card survives, you're gonna know all of the cards in their hand. This is not the case. This gives you a random a copy of a card from their deck. So you might be lucky and get super powerful cards, but since this card is hidden, it has a great stat line and it also has flanks, so it's fairly easy to attack the opponent with it. For me, it has to be 5 stars, and it's the Deception creature that's 5 stars in terms of the Genesis set. For me, this is the one. Moving on, Avatar of Deception. Avatar of Deception super good because it has a great stat line, a 4/4/4, and then a bunch of spells. It has Hidden, and it also gives Confused and Sleep to a random enemy creature. It's a great staller, and it costs the cost is fairly low for what you get. So for me, it has to be 4 stars. It's useful in any deception deck. Next, Shadewalker. Hidden. At the end of your turn, this creature gets 1 strength. Since it has Hidden forever, this card can become super dangerous, and unless they have a board clear that destroys every creature or that deals more than 3 damage, it's gonna be fairly hard to get rid of the Shadewalker, and this can become super powerful over time and can get out of hand pretty quickly. So if you don't get rid of it, you're gonna suffer. So this card has to go into the 4 stars category as well. So in the 4 mana slot, we're seeing a lot of good cards here. Next one, we have Merchant Prince. Reduce the cost of all cards in your hand that is not start in your deck by 1. This card, for me, it was 4 stars, but I haven't seen this being played a lot, so I'm gonna have to... I'm still gonna put it in the 4-star category because as time goes on, this card is only gonna become more and more powerful because adding cards to your hand as new cards come out with the new expansions and seasons, this card is going to become more and more of a staple in each deck because you're going to have a lot of cards that did not start in your deck in your hand. If this was reduce the cost of all cards in that you have, like even in your deck, and there's like new mechanics that add cards to your deck from your opponent's card, then this card's gonna be absolutely monstrous. So this has to be the 4 stars. Maybe it can be upgraded to 5 stars later down the line, depending on which cards come out. Next one, we have Smokebound. After this creature attacks, give it and another random friendly creature hidden for 1 turn. This is an interesting mechanic because if you pair it with, for example, a Vault Vagabond or a Lord of Whispers or a Mastermind, then it can become super powerful. The only thing that impairs this is going to be the burn, which means that this is not going to survive for long. Maybe it would be great if this had Blitz, at least Blitz, to be able to attack another creature. If it was that, then you could give Hidden right away to one of your other creatures. But since it's random friendly creature and it doesn't have Blitz, this has to go into the 3-star category. Its potential is not, it's understated. So next one, Mana Thief, 5 mana. Remove one of your mana logs and add 1 to your opponent's mana gems. And when this dies, it does the opposite. So this card is only good if you're able to transform this card into something else. If you're able to negate its afterlife effect. Other than that, it's just giving you a temporary tempo advantage. And since it costs 5 mana and it has a terrible stat line, and 3/1's terrible because you can die to basically anything. This is not going to survive for long, so this has definitely has to go into the 1 mana, the 1 star category for me. Next one, we have Spell Stealer. Add a random spell from your opponent's card to your hand. It's fairly good. Not as great as the 2 mana 1/2 that does this, the Lightfoot Informant. I would say this stat line would have to be updated at least to a 3/4 or perhaps to a 3/5, and then it would be great. Other than that, it's gonna have to be 5 stars because putting a 3/3 on turn 5, it's fairly bad, and it's gonna give you a lot of make you lose a lot of tempo. Next one, we have Master of Surprises. At the end of your turn, each creature has a 50% chance to swap its attack and health, and then swap the attack and health of each other creature. This is a meme card or a combo card, so for me it has to be 3 stars. It can work in specific decks. Other than that, it's pretty bad. Next one, we have Kidnapper. Kidnapper is quite interesting. The only thing that makes it, for me, it would be like one of the best cards in the game if it had Blitz. At least Blitz. since it doesn't have blitz and it needs to stay on the board for at least one turn, most people are gonna get rid of this because it has deadly, and also when it kills creatures, it basically steals them and gives them to your hand, and that's gonna be terrible. No opponent's gonna let this live on the board, so this has to be 3 stars for me. If it had blitz and it could guarantee you at least 1 card, then it would be 4 stars for sure. Next one, we have the Labyrinth Minotaur. Pretty interesting. I like this. I like all of the mythology behind the cards. This is the Minotaur from Greek mythology. We have Roar, pick 1, attack target enemy creature or get hidden for 1 turn. So this basically gives you flexibility and allows you to get like a blitz, or you can get hidden. It's okay. It's a 3-star card for me. It has a lot of flexibility, but I haven't seen this. A lot of people play this, so it's neutral in terms of how good it is. And finally, we have the Identity Thief, where you pull an enemy creature from the board and put it into your opponent's hand and create a copy of it and put it into your hand. This card's pretty good, but I haven't seen anyone play this, so because it's way too overstated. If it was 6 mana, then it would be good. Other than that, it might be interesting for you to play, because if they have only 1 creature, it might be pretty good, because it gives you the tempo advantage with the 4/4 on the board, and it also gives you a copy of it, and allows you to get extra cards. So I see a lot of potential here, and I'm gonna put this in the 4-star category, even though it's not used a lot. There's a lot of potential here to do some crazy plays with these types of cards. And that's it, guys. So these are the card reviews for the Genesis set Deception. Next, we're gonna jump right on to Light, and we're gonna be reviewing those cards, so stay tuned in order to check the video out, and let me know what you thought of the videos. Please smash the like button down below, and if you have any disagreements, or if you think that one of the ratings wasn't as great, make sure you put it down in the comments down below, and let's all participate in the discussion about the reviews of the cards and why some cards are great and others aren't. So let's do that, and don't forget to answer the question in the description to participate in the giveaway. See you guys next time. Peace out. Bye bye.